Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tasia and today's video is going to be about the different steps that I am taking to help tighten up my budget and kind of streamline things financially around the house. Before we get started, I will address the elephant in the room. For those of you who watched my vlog video this past weekend, you may notice, or you may be thinking to yourself, her hair was longer, I think, or maybe it was a different color. There's something going on here. And yes, that is true. No, I didn't go out and get my hair done. I have a condition called alopecia, which basically is an autoimmune disorder which causes your immune system to attack your hair follicles, which in return makes your hair fall out. So long story short, you're gonna see me in a lot of different hairstyles, especially now that I am starting to branch out and come on this side of the camera a little bit more. You sometimes may see me in blonde hair, you may see me with dark brown hair, long hair, short hair, all kinds of different hairstyles, and that's just what it is. I know I'll get a lot of questions about it on each video going, hey, how come your hair is different? But I thought for those of you watching now, it'd be nice to just address it. It's not something that I'm embarrassed about. I've had it for years, so I've grown very comfortable with it. So if you have questions about it or anything like that, ask me. Whatever it is, I don't mind, but don't be rude, because rude comments are gonna get the boot really quick. So anyways, let's get started with the budget video. Okay, so when it comes to my budget, I just recently started tightening things up around the house. Prior to having everything written out and kind of strategized and things like that, I really didn't pay attention to much, and it is really starting to catch up with us. We've been looking at Zach's student loans and things that we want to pay off, and that's not going to be possible unless we know our numbers. So that's the first step that I recommend, is knowing your numbers. Knowing how much money is coming in and how much money is going out is crucial to any budget, because without that you could very well be spending way more and like dipping into savings, or spending, you know, just wasting money. So my very first tip would be to do that. I personally made an account with everydollar.com. They have a free version and they have a paid version. It's called Plus, but it's $8.25 a month, or $99 for the year. I just went ahead and paid it so it would just be out of the way and I would be more inclined to use it. But it has been a lifesaver. For those of you who are unfamiliar, I just started watching Rachel Cruz on YouTube, and so she recommended this website. She's a part of this website. But in any case, what they do is you're able to break down your budget and kind of categorize all of your funds. So you can allocate this much money to electric, gas, mortgage, rent, insurance, spending money, subscriptions, like everything you could possibly think of, they have a spot for it. And then they have additional spots that you can go ahead and put your own things in there as well. So I really like that. The reason why I got the paid version is because with the paid version, you're able to connect your bank account. And so I know that may sound scary to some, but I feel like this is a trustworthy website and I did research it. So only do what you're comfortable with, but I'm okay with attaching my bank account to this website. But what it does is, on one column, you're able to see all the transactions that are coming in on your debit card, and then in the other column is your budget. So what you do is you just go ahead and drag and drop into the different categories. So say you allocated $200 for insurance and you went ahead and you paid that insurance, it's going to pop up in your transaction when your bank processes it. You just drag and drop it if you're on your desktop, or just assign the category if you're on your iPhone or your phone. But that way you're able to see if you're breaking even. If you allocated $200 for insurance but you're really paying $250, well, that's just silly, and you're not going to know unless you actually look at it. It comes in really handy for those categories that aren't so solid, like insurance or something that has a consistent balance or a consistent payment. So things that fluctuate, like food or eating out, just little frivolous spending, things like that, you're able to go, holy moly, I'm spending like way more money than I'm supposed to. And that's why I really like this this website. What I did the first month that I used this website is I did not make a budget. I kind of made what I thought I was spending, and then I went ahead and I did the entire month and I categorized every single thing that went in and out of our bank account. And boy, oh boy, was I way off. I was spending way too much money on eating out and getting coffee every morning. Every morning I would go out and get a coffee. It's $4.10 a cup. And then, hey, you know, while you're there, you might as well get breakfast. It's so early in the morning. Who wants to make breakfast? That adds up. All these different things. And it's just out of control. So that was a real eye-opener. So one step that I'm taking to clean up my budget is I'm not doing that anymore. I'm making my own cold brew at home. I am pre-prepping, like I'm meal prepping and planning my breakfast. So there's no excuse. If I'm running late in the morning, I just grab my things to go and I go. So that's my number one tip, is to actually figure out your budget and use something that helps you, like everydollar.com. Tip number 2. Once you have this all kind of mapped out and you kind of are familiar with where your money's going and things like that, that's when you can start to trim and cut out anything that you don't need or that you're overspending on. So for me, that was the coffee and the eating out. Other things were little subscriptions that I really just kind of forgot about. I subscribed to Audible, and while I really like Audible, it's not, I don't use it enough to find the value in that. So I went ahead and canceled my Audible. Apple Radio, I forgot about that. It was pulling from my account, and so I nixed that. I have Netflix, and so I did not nix that, but that's something that could be cut as well. Other things that you can work on are bringing down payments. So be it with your cable and internet or your insurance or your cell phone or things like that. Like, don't just take what you're paying as it is what it is, because I am living proof of this. So in one of Rachel Cruz's videos, I will try to find it and link it down below, she recommended going to her website, and they had all these different agencies that they recommended within your local area that worked with insurance. And their whole thing was, we could probably save you about $500 a year if you just look into your insurance and see, you know, if you could save some money. So I did that. And okay, so for my car insurance, we have 2 cars, full coverage. With the old insurance, it was $230 a month. It was really steep. And I kind of priced around, you know, to the other big names, like, you know, the ones that are out there. I'm not going to name any, but, and they were all kind of around that ballpark. So I was like, oh gosh, that's just how much insurance costs. But I went to this agency who's local, and they were able to price out insurance for me, and they took my car insurance down from $230 to $120 a month. That savings is huge. So definitely check it out, or price around on your own. It's definitely worth looking into. And then even when it comes to cable is so expensive, and while I'm not willing to cut that out of my life, because I really enjoy, there's TV shows that I enjoy watching, I really don't go out much, and so that's something that I enjoy, so I'm gonna keep it. But there are ways to make it cheaper. So there's PlayStation View. If you own a PlayStation, they do streaming. There's the Sling, which I'm not quite sure how that works, but I looked into it very lightly, and it's definitely an option when it comes to having television. Another thing, which is the cheapest because it's free, is just to catch digital channels through your antenna. A lot of the new TVs nowadays already have the antenna built in, but if you don't have one, or you need like a booster or something like that, you can just go out and get one from like Target or Walmart or Best Buy or anywhere that sells that type of electronic. You just screw it into the auxiliary outlet of your TV. I think it's the auxiliary. I don't think it'd be HDMI, but well, anyways, you just plug it in and it catches your local stations for the most part. Depending on where you live, if you're in a really mountainous or a forested area, it may not catch as well, but it's definitely something to look into. My third tip is similar to, I think it's similar to the snowball effect. I'm not too familiar with Dave Ramsey's Snowball. I've kind of heard about it and I know the gist of it, but my dad always taught me that you need to live within your means, of course, but if you get a raise, that doesn't mean you grow. That means you got a raise and you put that away. Or if you're paying $100 towards something and you no longer need to pay that $100, that's not just $100 that you can go blow every month now on whatever you feel like. You really should take that money, either invest it, pay yourself in savings or pay off a debt. If you have debt, of course, pay that off first unless you have, unless you need savings. For me, I need that nest egg to feel comfortable. For those of you who watched my Q&A video a while back, you may know that we had lost everything. Like I went to ground zero when it came to my bank account, my belongings, my home, everything was gone. So we've built back up. We have a house now. We are back into a comfortable situation. But it really taught me a lesson, and I feel like I wouldn't have been hit that hard if I would have planned properly in the first place. So while the going is good, you should still get tough, because you just don't know, and that something is gonna happen to you. So that's my third tip, is to really like live within your means, is basically what I'm saying. And so those 3 steps are the steps that I have taken so far to help work on my budget. I've, again, streamlined my budget and figured out where my money is going, where it needs to go, what bills, like I've strategized my bills and kind of put them in order. Thankfully, I don't have any credit card debt, but we do have those student loans, and those student loans are crazy. And they're one, they're very expensive, and 2, the interest is not very good. So I'm working on paying those off. That's gonna be my goal number 1. Goal number 2 is we have our cars that are financed. I want to get rid of those. Not the cars, but the payments, and then hopefully work towards paying off our mortgage. So I think going into it, the best thing to do is to make a plan. Whatever your plan is, it's a good one as long as it works for you. I don't think that you should just, I don't know, go by the seat of your pants, because that's what I was doing for a little while. I was like, well, I can just pay off, you know, pay here and there and whatever, and it's just, it wasn't working. You need a plan, and you really need to sit down and strategize. So I'm doing that. We've cut where we need to cut, and now we're moving forward. With moving forward, I'm using everydollar.com, and I'm also using my planner binder that I made, and I'm gonna show you that planner binder now. Okay, so this is the binder that I use. It's just a regular old binder that I got from our grocery store, actually, but you could get it like Target or Walmart or something like that. It's a 1.5 inch. You can do whatever size you want, but this is what I use to kind of just keep all my documents and pieces and just keep everything, you know, all in one place. I'm really redundant. So you may be like, she just wrote that. Like, why is she writing it again? It gives me peace of mind. It's like a fallback plan. Like if I didn't write it there, it's over there. It's like, it just makes me happy and comfortable. So that's why I do it. Definitely eliminate it if you don't like it. Unfortunately, a lot of this is covered up. I'm not comfortable with sharing my actual numbers, be it with income or debt at this time. So you're not gonna see that information, unfortunately. So some of it, it just, I don't know. It's just something that to me is very private. So anyways, when you open it up, the first page that I have is I made it in Excel. And so basically what it is, it's just a spreadsheet, and it gives me a yearly overview of all the bills that are due. So what you're not seeing here is that it's just columns that go down like this, and then the lines go across like this. And so what I do is I write my bills here in this column, so be it electric, phone, you know, gas, water, and then up here you can see I have all of my months. So I have July, August, September. So when I get a bill in, I just go ahead and write it in there like that, and then when I pay it, I highlight it. So this way, I just really like seeing a kind of like a yearly overview to see my electric bill. Did it go up? Did it go down? You know, what our average is, so I can better anticipate what's going on. Or if there was a spike, I will be able to see it very clearly because last month is right there. The reason why I highlight it is just so I know, quick glance, it's paid for. So that's why I like this overview. So that's the first thing that I have here. And then my next page, I'm gonna be putting in dividers as I go, but this is my first divider for July. I still need to label it. So my next page is a monthly overview. This is something that I just printed up offline. If you go to Google and you type in free printable calendar 2017 monthly overview or anything like that, you'll get free printables like this. I picked this one because it was just really plain and simple. But this is where I write down all the bills that are due. So I take that information and I put it over here, or vice versa. I write all my deposits in one color and then I write all my bills in another. Once they're paid, I highlight it again. So that way, this week, so right now it's the 5th, so I have my deposit and I just make sure that all those bills are paid, and then it's kind of like just a surefire way to make sure everything gets taken care of. Thankfully, I get paid weekly, so it's kind of easy to strategize all the bills, but if you get paid bi-weekly, then you just need to put a little more thought into it. The next section that I have are just all of these different dividers. I really like these dividers for 2 reasons. One, they're really bright, and 2, they all have a pocket. So I'm able to put documents in there. For the most part, if it's not a bill, I put it in here. Like if it's a document or something pertaining to, say, the mortgage, I'll put it in the pocket. If it's a bill, then I use my 3-ring punch and I punch it, and then I put it chronologically in its category. I took them all out just for the sake of this video. I didn't want any information shown on camera, but that's how I use it. So I have a tab for every single bill. There's some information still back here, but that's about it. It's really easy. It's just a way for me to have everything in one section. I have a binder just like this for all of my home manuals, my warranties, all that kind of good stuff. And it's nice to be able to just have it all in one place. Alright guys, so those are my 3 tips to get started with your budget. Again, that EveryDollar app has really helped me. I've been using it for a few months now, and I feel like every month I'm getting a little better at what I'm doing. So I really recommend it. I don't recommend anything that I don't actually use myself. So I use the desktop version and it's just really clean and tidy. Math is not really my strong point, so for it to be able to just automatically calculate everything for me as I feed in the information is perfect. And not to mention, I'm not actually inputting anything. It copies the budget from month to month. You can make adjustments if you need, and then just dragging and dropping your transactions in there make it really simple. And then when it comes to that binder, it's just pretty simple. Like there was nothing new in that binder. I don't think that we would have been like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that you could do that. It's really straightforward. It's just there as a friendly reminder. I think if you don't write things down, or if you're unable to see it visually, things will sneak up on you and you won't remember, or things like that. Like you'll be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that bill was due tomorrow. Like I completely forgot. So having them written down and just laid out like that really helps prevent those types of things from happening, and also forgetting to pay altogether. Like if you don't write it down, you just go by memory. Sometimes life gets really busy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you did. I've been working on getting more content up for you folks. So in addition to the Plan With Me's that are now scheduled every Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'm going to be working in more videos here and there. If there's something specific you folks want to see, definitely leave it in the comments below, or if you have any tips or tricks when it comes to budgeting, I'd love to hear them. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!